Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In our Old Testament reading today, we find Israel in a place of peace under the rule of Solomon. Solomon is ruling over Israel in a very wise way, and they really don't have any wars going on, and they're doing pretty well. They're prospering, and they have plenty of land, and again, things are going really well. And it's during this time of peace and prosperity that Solomon decides to build a house for the Lord. And he's already making provisions for that in 1 Kings chapter 5. And this is a good principle for us to follow because we too ought to be wanting to give God a dwelling place during those times of peace and prosperity in our own lives. You know, it tends to be that we only call on the Lord in the times of emergency. That in the times of distress and agony and hardship, that then we want to draw close to the Lord and want the Lord to draw near to us. And then we want the Lord to dwell with us and to abide in the presence of God. But it ought to be that in the times of peace, we also do this as well. That when we find ourselves doing well, perhaps financially, at least getting by financially, when our marital relationships are going well, life is going pretty well for us, that in those times too, we ought to be seeking to abide in the presence of God and to invite the presence of God, into our lives so that we can draw near to Him even in those times. And I think we'll find that sometimes the prosperous times, the good times in our lives can be the most beneficial because, we don't have a lot of anxieties or fears perhaps in our lives. We don't have a lot of things to distract us. And so we can more readily center ourselves on Him. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. Unfortunately, oftentimes in the good times, we focus on ourselves and our own comfort and our own pleasures. But if we would seek the Lord in those times and really draw close to Him and use those times as an opportunity to build up our spiritual life and to cultivate spiritual disciplines that will invite the presence of God into our lives, we would be greatly benefited, and we would create some momentum to get us through perhaps some of the dark times that might be ahead. So let's let our reading today encourage us to not only draw close to the Lord and invite the Lord into our lives in the hard times, but also in the times of peace and prosperity. To draw close to the Lord and to invite Him into our lives, to quote unquote, build a house for Him. That is, to make our lives conducive to His presence so that we can abide with Him throughout all of life's circumstances and to draw the benefit that comes from His presence. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.